All right, we're starting, so get ready.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the Two Guys Show. I'm Drew Minnock.
And I'm Brad Wade. Nice to see you tonight.
This will be presented by the EdReach Network, giving educators a voice, a big voice. And this is the number one episode, the very first one. So welcome, everybody, um,
Welcome. Nice
to,
to see everybody tonight.
to the August 27th edition. Um, and what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about the latest in educational technology.
We're also going to talk about sharing meaningful integration in augmented reality. And as some of you know, that is one of our big things is augmented reality. So one thing we always want to focus on every show is giving you an opportunity to hear about how us and other amazing educators are using augmented reality in the classroom.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking about game-changing educators, so just people we've encountered um, in our kind of adventures the last, 5, 6 months, as long as, people that we haven't connected with, but through Twitter, and we know are out there doing some just amazing things.
Yeah, so we're gonna have featured guest game-changing educators, as we call them. So if you're gonna be one of those people and you want to be on this show, we want to hear about what you're doing because educators are amazing and they do some incredible things. So you know what? We're gonna give you all our information, you know how to reach out and get a hold of us, but make sure that you're sharing these stories with us and other people because we want to hear what you're doing. And hey, you never know, you could be on this show with us one day.
Absolutely. We're also going to be talking about like upcoming exciting EdTech conferences, some deadlines, call for presenters, things like that. And we're going to really try and promote a lot of the conferences going around and get people out there doing professional development.
Absolutely. And so also we're going to go and like we said, this is going to be unlike any show we hope that you've ever seen. We're going to be talking about things that are going on Twitter, things that we're doing on blogs and that we see on blogs. We want to share awesome blogs and things people are doing out there. So this is going to be kind of a catch-all for everybody to share. We're going to kind of be a connecting point for a lot of people around the world that we're going to share what we're doing, but we're also going to connect people from all over the world, hear about some great ideas and share them with you. And that whole thing is going to work together where we can hear from you and you can increase your PLN. That's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. And usually at this point in the show, we'll kind of talk about what the show is going to be about. We're only going to go for a half hour to start, and then who knows, maybe we'll make it longer in the future. But right now to start, we're going to go about a half hour. And at this time in the show, we'll usually have a guest, a game-changing educator on, just kind of telling their story. They can share some awesome things that they're doing in their classroom or in their community as well. But today, you're stuck with us. You get the two guys today, and it's just the two guys show for today. And we got rid of the iPads part just because we don't want to focus on that on the show. We want to be able to tell the story of some great educators and just other great technology and educational technology that people are using in the classroom, communities, and really just changing the lives of the students that they encounter. So
All
that's
right.
kind of what we're doing. We kind of got the script, Brad. You see it, but I
Yeah.
mean, you see,
I remember.
we're just gonna throw it away and just kind of roll with it tonight, and we're just gonna kind of talk about what we want to do and how this show is gonna be different than other ones.
Absolutely. And, as for people who know and you've seen our backstory, and I'm going to kind of talk really loud because because I'm getting feedback that my mic's a little low, so I'm going to try to step it up a little bit.
I'm not gonna
Um,
lie, Brad. I'm gonna interrupt you. You never have a problem being really loud. Neither one of us do, so this shouldn't be an issue for you.
all right. Hey, can you hear me, Drew? Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to assume that the rest of the world can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. I'll step it up even another notch. But hey, welcome. This is we're Drew and Brad, and so I want to tell you a little bit about our adventure. We teach elementary school at a building in Michigan, up here in lovely Michigan. It is raining today. It's been kind of rainy. We've had a wonderful summer. We have an iPad pilot program in our building. And the way all this happened was I was using it in my class, and Drew came into the building this year, and we immediately hit it off. So we started talking about trying to maximize our iPad program. So what we started doing is when I wasn't using them, they went to his room. Okay, and then that's really that's when everything started, because the cool thing that I was able to do that I hadn't had was I was doing some cool stuff in my room, but I was kind of in a cave and I didn't get to share that with anybody. So now what happened was when Drew came in, it's like, hey, so we start sharing the iPads, and next thing I know, we're collaborating about all the cool stuff that's happening in our classroom. And Drew, why don't you pick it up from there? I'm going to work on my sound real quick. Still not loud enough, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. Yeah, we got started collaborating on some things, and then we started really sharing things with each other, and that's where it helped. It sounds better, Brad, when you plug those headphones back in, so I don't hear
Really?
myself.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. All right. Let me see.
But anyway, so we started collaborating on different things. So where I would find something and throw it at Brad, and he would start using it in his classroom. So it was really great that we got to collaborate with somebody who was passionate about the same things. And it was really someone to piggyback off of, and that was one of the things that we've been very lucky about, because I know a lot of, we're two of those nutty teachers out there that, love to do educational and crazy risk-taking things, when a lot of times, people that are doing things like that are a lone wolf at their school and don't have someone to collaborate with. So we're very fortunate to have each other to collaborate with and bounce ideas off each other and feedback, and it's really worked well. And we started doing that a little bit and got the chance to present at our school a little bit, do a PD, to present for our district administrators. I mean, we have a great support at Bloomfield Hills, and Rob Glass, our superintendent, has been phenomenal. Dave Shulkin,
Yep.
Christine DiPilato, and then we'll give our principal Leticia Tapp a little shout out, and she's been pretty supportive of what we're doing, because I mean, Brad and I went to her and be like, we're gonna start being kind of loud about some stuff, and we got to make sure that you're gonna be okay with it, because it might draw some attention. So she's like, let's do it. So here we are.
All right, yeah, it was interesting. I'll never forget that day. Drew and I, as he just said, we're those teachers that, we're early adopters and we're ready to embrace the technology and kind of go after it. So when we started getting the encouragement and we said, all right, we're going to have a voice, we're going to start talking and getting pretty loud about that. We went to her and said, all right, listen, we're ready to start talking pretty loud. Are you okay with this? Because we don't know what's going to happen. And this is about 5 months ago. And look what happened. So here we are. Now we're sharing these things with you, and that's what the show is going to be about, is talking to you about all the cool things that not only what we're doing, because people are doing amazing things, but we're going to use this as a connecting point to tell you and talk with you and share your stories. Okay, one of the coolest things that happened last week, I want to give a shout out to Aaron Kress, nice, awesome teacher down in Ohio.
A Columbus Crew soccer fan, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
Absolutely. Columbus Crew, a nice shout out there. Soccer fans over here. One of the coolest tweets I got this week was their school year had started, and she now ended up using some augmented reality, using Erasmus, which we are big fans of.
Oh yeah.
They were bringing their fifth graders into the building, and what they did is they used it as like a kind of almost like an orientation scavenger hunt. And you talk about awesome feedback. And so it's funny, she gave us a tweet. I'm like, hey, have you written that up? Have you blogged about it? She said, oh, I'll do it. I mean, seriously, in 15 minutes, I had like a 3-page article on it, and it was awesome. So just kind of goes to show you the power of all this. So we really do listen. We want to hear from you. We want to share your stories. We are one to give you ideas and to hear what you're doing, and we want, like I said, want to be that where we connect everybody, and we're going to do this for the greater good of the kids in the classroom and inspire you, because we want to be part of your PLN and help you continue to be amazing and do incredible things in your building on a daily basis.
Absolutely, and I'm going to give a little shout out to Jacob, Aaron Klein's son. Apparently he's trying to talk to us through the computer, I see on Twitter. So
right,
give him a little shout out. Hello. And then, but yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of this, is we're trying to, kind of grow our PLN and to get others to kind of join us here, because, as we talked about, we're better when we work together and we collaborate. And that's the same thing, with our students. We want them collaborating and learning from each other. And, I'll never forget this picture that I saw. I think Will Richardson showed it at the keynote for the Galileo conference, but with this hill with one road going up to the top of the hill, and that was it. Then over here was a hill, and there were roads going everywhere, right? Going to the same location, and that's and that's learning. You know, there's many different ways to solve the same problem, and you know, I might have my blinders on and only view it one way, but Brad solves that same exact problem a different way. So it's important when we collaborate that now I have two ways to solve a problem, and the more people we collaborate with, and you know, we're constantly learning from each other, and that's important that we create these learning environments in our classroom that where our kids feel safe to be creative and be risk takers, and failure is good. You know, failure is okay. You know, you just got to learn from it. Take that lesson and you know, and learn from it, and don't be scared to fail. Be risk takers, and that's what we try to promote in our classrooms.
Absolutely, and think about that, teachers. You know what? When we're talking about working with kids, you know what? Watch your kids. They're better with failure than we are. We're the ones with the hang up. As adults, we become the ones with the stigma that all of a sudden, you know, like we are a lot more nervous about change. We're the ones less willing to go out and be risk takers. Yet that's exactly what we want our kids to do. So we need to go out and live what we're preaching. Okay? So there's a couple examples. You know what? Kids are okay with failure. You know what? They live it and they learn it, and they're like, okay, all right, because they know they're not going to be judged, especially if that's an environment that you've created. The second thing is this whole big technology piece. That's what this is all about, is using technology to enhance what we're doing. It's not to replace us, but teachers are already doing amazing things. So when we bring this technology into the classroom and adopt it and embrace it, then we can do even more amazing things. Here's something, you know, I hear this from different places, you know, different keynotes we go to, we preach this, and you know what? I'm paraphrasing a lot of amazing people who say something like this. You know what? Kids open an iPad, they get out and they start playing. Teachers open an iPad and ask for professional development. Really? You know what? I know we don't know how to do everything, and that's okay. You need to embrace that. You just need to get in the sandbox and start playing and start getting comfortable with that. You know what? Depending on the age of your kids, ask them to help you with something. Ask them to help you. Hey, can you help set this up for me and stuff, and work together. You'll get a lot of respect for that, and then you'll get to know the technology even better, which is amazing.
Not only that, but I don't know about any other teachers, but when I fail or mess up or do something, trip, fall, whatever, my kids, they love it. Oh my gosh, they're the first kids to they want to jump and help you and show you that they know how to do it. And I mean, I remember I had substitutes last year where they couldn't figure out, you know, class dojo. And man, I had like she said she had 5 or 6 kids lined up at her desk trying to help her out to show her how to use the technology. And that's important, you know, that we allow them to help us and show them that we're human and that failure is okay. And you know, you just got to learn from it and take that lesson and, you know, be a learner. It's completely okay to fail as long as we're modeling that and how to, you know, pick yourself back up and learn from it. I think that's important.
Absolutely. And then this whole piece that, you know, Drew mentioned earlier about this collaboration, I think it really hit the nail on the head when Drew and I saw this firsthand. That, you know, I was doing stuff in my classrooms, but I was doing it by myself, and I didn't have a colleague that I was really able to collaborate with. So once Drew and I got together, started doing this, things really improved and increased, and just us talking. I mean, and people, some of you are going to laugh about this, but you know it's true. There were plenty of nights where Drew and I are sitting there texting. It's like, I got to get to bed. Seriously, oh, but wasn't this cool? How exciting was this? You remember this that we tried today? I mean, Drew, I'm telling the truth, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. You're definitely telling the truth there. I mean, there was many nights where it's like you don't want to go to sleep, especially when we first discovered Erasmus and AR. You know, we were like freaking out. You know, we're like kids in a candy store here, and you know, we're lucky enough today to, you know, this is why there's good things about collaboration, why there's a great thing that there's 2 of us today, is because, you know, we had an opportunity where I went and met with Ben Feld from Erasmus, and I was able to go meet with him, and Brad was able to go have dinner with Kevin Honeycutt, who's in town for our keynote opening day tomorrow, which is awesome. So, I mean, we were able to tackle 2 things at once and you know, try and talk to Erasmus about possibly getting the studio account and the app kind of those things sync, so we can get rid of the device-only auras and kind of make it a little bit easier to use in education and things like that. And the first time that we started really getting into AR, whew, it was trouble. I many sleepless nights playing, and now it's just kind of been an adventure ever since, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to see a quick shout out. I got a question to those people watching live. If you have personally seen the power of augmented reality, I want you to hit up Twitter, the hashtag 2GuysShow, because we've seen it and lived it and breathed it. And I know Todd out there, Tech Ninja Todd. I know Aaron's been there. A lot of people we know. When you see the power of the augmented reality, it changes your whole world, your whole perspective on how you're going to approach things. Now, I'm not saying it replaces every lesson. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is it changes the way you approach teaching a child in the classroom, because it is so powerful and so engaging. I have seen this guy right there. I've seen him get on his soapbox, and I've seen him turn a doubter into a believer. And you know what? In later episodes, I may share that story. We may even have him as a guest someday, and you know who you are, because Drew out at Podstock made a doubter a believer. I did the same thing as well, but his performance was pretty amazing.
And speaking of Podstock, Brad, here we go.
Hey, you're rocking the shirt.
Rocking our Podstock shirt, which is one of the, we're told we were going to talk about conferences coming up, but this one has already passed. But if you haven't been to Podstock, put on by EdTech and the whole crew there, must attend conference. It rocks. That's for sure. It's definitely a conference to check out. So,
yeah,
definitely look into it.
Absolutely.
And I know that. Sorry,
what?
Brad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We're talking about AR, and that's kind of like our main thing is digging into AR with Erasmus and how we have our students create it, and we're creating it and using it in different ways and things like that. But it seems like there's a big push for computer programming and coding and that skill to be taught earlier and earlier on, and that's why another one of the things that we really preach is CargoBot, and we've seen some powerful stories and transformations of learning and collaboration and teaching and things like that from our third graders, 9-year-olds. So I know Brad will attest to that.
Yeah, and you know what? If you've seen us in person, you've been to one of our presentations, we have a few apps that we really just think are gold mines. Well, that's part of what we're going to share with you over the course of this show as it expands and it grows. But Drew brings up an amazing app called CargoBot. It's an app that was designed by Code.org. Code.org is a nonprofit organization that believes in getting programming into schools, and it's backed by like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and just if you look it up, it's very impressive and amazing. And so if you go there and look, you can get information no matter what your student population is. Drew and I teach in elementary, so we went there and we got the information that fit and suited an elementary building, and CargoBot was the app. And if you're downloading it now, take a look at it, or if you haven't, download it. It's a free app, and I always, we've blogged about this, we've written articles about this. I kind of say it's kind of gets you between it's like Angry Birds meets Cut the Rope, okay? Because we all know Angry Birds is it's very addicting. It gives you rewards based on your efficiency, how well you fit the program, and how efficient you are to completing the task and goal at hand. But there's some science involved and some thinking. So CargoBot, if you're looking at it, you got to program a robot, and over time you will hear the stories that have happened in this class. And Drew, why don't you share your short one about the solution with one of your students?
Yeah, and when you're playing CargoBot, there's a little thing in the top corner, a little button that says hints, and you click that and it'll tell you the shortest solution to solve it. And each move that you move over, it's a drag and drop, is a register. And it said the shortest solution to solve this problem is 9 registers or 9 moves. Well, my kid, 9 years old, third grader, solved it in 4.
Amazing.
And that's just crazy. It'll tell you, the creators of the game didn't even realize that the solution was possible. And here we go, we have a 9-year-old doing it. So that just kind of shows you the power. Brad's holding it up right now, CargoBot, of how it can really help all the skill levels of kids. And that was one of my higher end examples. And we've got lots of different examples that we could talk about at different times. But that was just one quick story of how that app really helped challenge some of our higher level thinking kids we have in our classroom. And that was awesome. That was exciting. I'll tell you, I'll never forget that when I went running down the hall to Brad to show him, and he was like, "Yeah, right." And I'm like, "Here it is," and he was blown away.
Yeah, it's funny because things Drew and I will talk about.
we'll talk about things we've seen firsthand. And when you're telling that story firsthand, there's nothing like it. I will never forget when he came and he told me. And then the crazy thing was I got the iPads back, and it just so happened I opened the one where that message was still displayed on there. I'm like, no way, that is so awesome. Look at that, a kid in his class. So it said record the message, upload to YouTube, an unknown solution. And so, and that brings up another thing is with the way everything's connected and these devices and the apps that we talk about and anything you're using in your class, don't be afraid to try to contact people through Twitter, through email,
Absolutely.
whatever your best social media is. Because I'll speak on Drew's behalf real quick on another app that you'll hear us talk about over time. It's called 3Ring. It's a teacher productivity app. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's 3Ring. It's spelled with the word 3Ring. The cool thing is Drew was using it, and he saw some things he liked. He saw some things that if they had, it would make it even better. Drew gets on Twitter, boom, he sends it out, and then what happened then, Drew? What happened?
We've been lucky enough to be in steady contact with the guys at 3Ring, with Michael and Steve, and about things that we think that will make the app better for teachers and educators, and they're very open. They're very open to our feedback, and in fact have made some pretty good updates and got more updates coming that will make it even easier to create those digital portfolios for your students and capture every moment of learning that goes on in your classroom in a split second. So obviously, I'm a huge fan of 3Ring. I use it religiously in my classroom.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you what, Remind 101 is going to be the next one that religiously gets used in my classroom. Just love what those guys are doing out there in California, and that's an app that will definitely, it makes that parent communication with just a simple text a lot easier, and for us anyway at the elementary level, texting probably the parents, but high school teachers and stuff like that, text your students using Remind 101, and I'll tell you what, you will not regret it. It'll definitely make your learning environment in your classroom much better.
Yeah, and a lot of these apps, since it's the very first show, we're kind of giving you a quick little overview. In upcoming weeks, we're hoping to have a lot of people that are involved with these apps, from Remind 101, from 3Ring, and so on. And near the end of the show, we're going to kind of give you some teasers about some stuff and some companies that we've been talking to and things we're working on, and some really cool stuff, because obviously augmented reality is something that we're going to have like an AR corner everywhere where we're showing you something in augmented reality, and we'll be sharing stories that you can use in your class or what we've heard from people. Then we're also going to be showing you some of the latest technology. We're going to be showing you things that are out now and on the way, but then we're also going to show you some things that you can get your hands on today and start using in your class tomorrow. So that'll be, we'll have that segment each week, and so that's going to be amazing. So we'll be doing screen share, we'll be doing, doing all kinds of cool stuff where you can actually see it. Now, obviously, and we'll say this at the end, obviously you can go to our blog and see a lot of the stuff we're talking about in detail, in depth. And our blog, if you don't know, is twoguysandsomeipads.com. And you can, of course, reach us on Twitter. Drew's at TechManock, and I'm at TechBradWade. So go over some other stuff, Drew, real quick, and then we'll kind of give them an overview for the weeks to come.
Yeah, mainly we're just really excited to be here and be able to do this. We got to thank EdReach Network, obviously, for giving us this opportunity to speak. Hopefully, if you guys have been watching the broadcast so far, you're using the hashtag 2GuysShow. It was kind of funny. Brad created a handle. It's the number 2, and then Guys Show, a Twitter handle the other day, and they started following me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, someone just making a fake Twitter name about Brad and I. But found out it was just Brad making one of us, so it worked out all right.
Yeah, he texted me the other night. He's like, oh my God, look, did you do this? I should have said, no, dude, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, you had the perfect opportunity, and you dropped the ball there. That was Bush League on your part.
Totally missed it. But hey, also some things we're going to do is we're going to tell you some about Drew and I's adventures, because seriously, we had 5 days down in San Antonio at ISTE. We had 5 days on the road at Kansas, and we drove. So I had to be in the car with Drew for 5 days on and off, and I don't know if it's good or not.
Yeah, we're flying from now on. That's all I'm going to say.
If it's more than a 5-hour drive, we gotta fly. But
We're gonna
you know, it's
fly,
funny
but we're not gonna stay overnight in the airport like I did when I went out to San Francisco. Because let me tell you that is not fun. Sleeping on the floor in the airport when it's freezing cold, and don't recommend it. So there's a little fun tip. Don't do that.
Yeah, no. So just, you know, like we said, we're going to talk about upcoming conference and stuff, but just two we'll mention right now to put on your calendar for next year. Okay, is ISTE, which is, you know, the world's largest educational technology conference. It will be where next year, Drew? Where is it?
Atlanta, ATL.
It's in Atlanta, the big ATL in 2014. Seriously, if you're serious about doing amazing things and really embracing technology, because you know what, next year at ISTE, Drew and I will be talking about stuff that we don't even know about yet. Okay, luckily we've been on the forefront of the upcoming and the emerging technologies. One cool thing that Drew and I have been lucky enough to be a part of is I heard from Brian Wassam a few minutes ago. He's trying to get in, but he's having trouble getting access with his home internet system. But anyway, so we were lucky enough to be co-founders of AR Detroit, and you can read about that on our blog. Augmented Reality Detroit, it's a monthly meetup where people from any industry who's interested or using augmented reality gets together and we can talk, and it's amazing. If you look at my Twitter handle, you see my header. That's a panorama shot from our last meeting.
But you know, Brad, just touch on that. Like, why, as us educators, would we want to do a meetup like that? You know, why would we want to? You know, how can that benefit us?
Well, so the cool thing is the more we know. I mean, obviously, you know what, Drew and I, luckily, we've been in all kinds of awesome stuff with augmented reality in education. But the nice thing is being able to be in the industry with all augmented reality and getting perspectives from people in the automotive industry, the advertising industry. I mean, one of the coolest things, I mean, in our last meeting, we had some amazing people do some presentations, and we actually got to see some new technology being unveiled before it went public. We got to get some cool information and some insight. But ultimately, this is what we believe. If we can be versed and schooled and knowledgeable in augmented reality, period, it's going to be better off for everybody, because you know what? With the networks we've been involved in and in touch with and our social media, the more we know, the more we can ask questions, the more we can share from people in all the other industries, it's going to ultimately make it even better for us as classroom teachers and educators.
Absolutely. You know, the more we can connect to these companies and things like that, the better that, you know, it's going to make us, and the better effect that we're going to have on our students' lives, and make learning fun, engaging, you know, make it meaningful for them, and let them take ownership of their learning. You know, if they want ownership of it and they're excited about what they're doing, then the sky's the limit. You know, I mean, they can do whatever they want as long as they believe that they can, and we give them the support and give them that carefree, not carefree, but that you know, risking environment. I don't know. I'm somewhat over my words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no,
give them that environment to where they can make risks and
okay to
fail, and it's okay.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so Drew, we talked about ISTE and we talked about Podstock. All right,
Q Rockstar Camp. Rockstar Camp. John Carippo, and I met Victoria Olsen out there, and John Stevens. I met Carl, and, you know, Sam Patterson, and I'll tell you what, Alice Keeler, they're rocking out there in California with the Q Rockstar Camp series. Awesome. Will Kimbley, the Kimbleys, him and his wife rocking it at sessions. I mean, there were so many awesome sessions out there. Definitely highly recommend if you're anywhere up and down California and you got a chance to go to a Q Rockstar camp, do it. I'm going back next year, so definitely check it out. Yeah. And who would pass up an EdTech conference on an aircraft carrier?
Yeah, so I get this text from Drew. I'm getting ready for our AR Detroit meeting and everything, and holding down the fort here, and I get this text from Drew. Hey, I got an amazing opportunity. You might have to hold down the fort for a while. Next thing I know, Drew's gone for a 10-day superstar rockstar trip in Southern California and Mid-California, doing all kinds of cool stuff. But over the weeks to come and the months to come, you'll hear more about those trips and some of the cool stuff that he did and things we were taking care of. So, all right, so right now let's do a couple Twitter shout-outs, Drew. give a shout out or two to a couple Twitter people, who to follow, why to follow them, and then I'll do the same.
Obviously we've got some of our real good friends, Tech Ninja Todd. He's been phenomenal, for us, and it was great to meet and connect with him at ISTE. We've become real good friends, all three of us, constantly giving each other, poking each other back and forth on how we just making fun of each other, having fun, So that's good.
Yeah.
Erin Klein, obviously, huge support. We'll talk about her in a minute, a little bit more. But, we've got a bunch of them. There's some Katie Ann out there, Victoria Olson, at Victoria Olson, at Miss Victoria Olson, I'm sorry. Carl, LS_Carl is out there in California. Follow him. So who do you want to give a shout out to, Brad?
Well, I was going to give a shout out to Todd. I didn't know you were going to take care of like 10, but that's okay. Todd got some love over here. Yeah, I know. Also Kevin Honeycutt. He does some really amazing things. Ginger Lumen.
Absolutely.
Shout out to ASDAC. A lot of the people at ASDAC are amazing. Hey, Mike, if you're watching, good to see you. Tamra. A lot of people in the ASDAC family out there in Kansas are doing amazing things, so it's nice to give them a shout out. And thank you for taking care of us when we were visiting you in Potsdok. We enjoyed our stay there. All right, so Drew, I want to show a couple things. I'm not going to show them. I just want to show them, and I want you to kind of touch on the company and what this is and why some of this might be a big deal in the upcoming future. I've got 3 cubes in my hand, Drew. Why
yes,
were these?
Sir.
What are cubes? What do they have anything to do with education or anything? Why would we be talking about them?
I'll tell you what, DAQRI is coming, and they're coming strong in the education field with augmented reality with 4D. So, they're just starting to scratch the surface of their potential with the 4D element cubes. They have Anatomy 4D out there, and I'll tell you what, just wait. Just wait. They're coming out with some sweet things, and we cannot wait to share them on this show.
Just wait, because seriously, DAQRI is a name you're going to hear us talk about, and you're going to see a lot more from them, because honestly, something that's happened with Drew and I, we have had to consistently modify our presentation because DAQRI keeps coming out with more and more amazing stuff. Seriously, it almost seems like it was on a weekly basis. And we'll give a shout out to Brian and Gaia and Steve. Steve, our local guy, shout out.
Oh yeah, big time.
Seriously, we will be featuring DAQRI from time to time and show you some of the amazing things that they are doing. We'll show you 2 things. One, the technology, that's just absolutely amazing. But then we'll also show you the educational side, the things that Drew and I have been lucky enough to not only meet them, but we've been able to get an opportunity to kind of test some of their products and get see some of their things that they're working on and get some feedback on them and try them out and give them a teacher's perspective and educator's perspective. So don't be surprised if we shout out through our social media networks that we want to see who's using what, and we want feedback, because we have a lot of companies that want information from us, but we want to hear it from you as well. We're only 2 people, but our PLN is much bigger than that. So we really appreciate all you guys, mainly in the Twitter world, because that's where we live. And people from Denmark, Texas, all over the world, Iceland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, all over the world. We appreciate.
I think I even saw someone from Argentina was checking into the show earlier. So
right on. Shout out. Right on. And see, just a quick example of how cool your PLN can be. Anders from Denmark started following me the other day, and he said, I see you do some cool things with augmented reality. I said, what are you up to? He said, I'm currently flipping my classroom. Is there a way for them to both exist? And I said, I know just the person you need to talk to. So I connected him with Todd, Tech Ninja Todd. I introduced them, and they got together because they're both talking about flipped classrooms and augmented reality. But that only happened through my PLN and Twitter. So that was pretty awesome.
Well, Brad, like most things, we can't do anything in a timely manner. Someone gives us 15 minutes to talk, we talk for 30 or whatever. We never can keep a time frame. You'd think as teachers we'd be good at that, but we're awful at it. So whatever.
Yeah.
Just to give you a heads up, next Tuesday night, it's going to be consistently on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. Yep. We have, as our first guest, we're honored to say that we're going to have our great friend, Erin Klein.
Yep.
Kleinspiration, and she's doing amazing things in classroom design. We'll be talking a little bit about that. It's our first day of school, so We'll get to talk about how crazy that goes.
Yep.
we'll be talking with her about how, the families and how our students, accepted the classroom design. And of course, we'll be talking about the power of Twitter, because, we wouldn't have connected and know we work right up the road from each other if it wasn't for Twitter. And, obviously we've all become real close, and she's an unbelievable educator, an absolute game changer, and an even better person and friend. So we're really excited to have her on next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you come check it out and be ready to be inspired. And that's something we hope to do every week, is get you inspired and ready to go back after another week and continue making the amazing impact and differences you are doing in your classroom, because you became educators for a reason. You need to make sure you believe it. Never lose that passion, and connect with your PLN. Connect with us, and connect with the people who get it, and make them your PLN, and you'll be even better served from here on out.
Definitely. Also, download the Stitcher radio app for the podcast. Check out EdReach. They're rocking on the Stitcher app. Just search them or you go to Stitcher.com and search them for the edreach.us/Stitcher show. Or Stitcher. You can look there. Also, big reminder: PBS and EdReach, they're collecting education wins, big edu wins. So you can buy that going to whatisyoureduwin.com. And you can submit to #EduWin as well, and check that out. Big thanks to everybody. I had to call Dan Rezak 5 minutes before and go, Brad can't hear anything. His mic won't work. Let's get this working. So that was cool that he was there and we got that done. You can follow me on Twitter. My hashtag's right there, or not hashtag, my Twitter handle at @TechMinock. And then of course Brad, he has his.
Yep, you can follow me at TechBradWade, and please get in touch with us. We do get back to people, and if it takes a day or two, apologize. But like to give a big shout. I see Craig is on Twitter. Nice to see you, Craig. But want to give a big thank you to the EdReach Network and everybody who tuned in tonight. We hope we give you a wonderful show and give you information you can take back and use in your classroom. And ultimately, we hope we inspire you from week to week and give you something to talk about and think about, and go connect with your PLN every week. Also,
you can follow EdReach on Twitter, EdReach us on Twitter, and check our page out on EdReach. It's EdReach /2guys. So I'd say that's about a wrap for the first week. We're excited to have Aaron Klein on next week, and hopefully everyone will tune in. And also, we should have this up on iTunes, I think, pretty soon here, probably tomorrow, hopefully, and you'll be able to download it on iTunes.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you for joining us. Bring a friend next week and tell them all about it, and we will see you next week. Stay connected, my friends.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.